Hi, welcome back to Life Down the Road. I am Joanne, and I'm going to interview somebody that I have interviewed before, and this is actually the third interview, so we're going to do an update on Crissy and Paul. Welcome, Crissy and Paul.
Hello.
This is our third interview together, so it officially represents 2 full years that you have successfully completed full-time RVing. I'd like to know, in your opinion, from 2 years ago to now, your thoughts. How have they changed what your expectations were to the reality of the situation?
I think I wasn't quite sure with the things that we still kept. And I kept thinking, why are we carrying this around the United States? We haven't used this thing for 2 years. What is the point? And it's just
something that you thought you needed.
That I thought I would need. And even just some of the Tupperware or the cookware. It's like, well, I haven't used that. I don't need 2 of these. It's like, I really don't need to waste that much space in a potato masher. I really don't. It's it takes up a lot of space when you only have 2 little tiny drawers. So yeah, I think living simple is I'm happier. I'm much happier.
Thank you. That's good to hear, and others will want to hear that. Paul, you have some ideas?
I think it's a lot more freeing than I thought it would be. It's almost a built-in activity because you have to be active and you move around a lot, so you can't get complacent and you keep moving and mobile. And I think it just kind of helps keep you in a younger frame of mind because you've got to keep thinking. You've got to figure out, where am I going to be in this weather? What am I going to do if this happens with this weather? Because you can move. That's the great thing is, if it's going to get bad, you just leave. You go somewhere else and you set up and stay there as long as you want. And if it gets bad, you move somewhere else. If you don't like it, you leave. I mean, you're not tied down anywhere. So you have endless possibilities. And there is a lot of thought that goes behind it to know where you're going and where you want to be. And it's nice keeping kind of track of where we want to go back to and where we don't.
Scheduling was another thing too. I didn't really realize how much you really do need to schedule things, because a lot of the parks you go to, it'll be extremely expensive, and we choose not to go there because it's too expensive for us. But that is another thing that I didn't really realize. Yeah, you still have to make plans.
That kind of leads me into another question about boondocking versus campground life. 2 years ago, expectation was you were going to do quite a bit of boondocking. Other than the occasional transition from one area of the country to the other, where you have an occasional night maybe at Cracker Barrel, Walmart, or someplace like that. What was your experience with boondocking? Did you like it? And what are you doing now?
I found out I don't need it. After we went down that 30-mile washboard road that about knocked our microwave out of the wall, I said, okay,
we're done.
And when we find out how rough it is on an RV if it's not set up for off-roading, you're just beating the hell out of your rig. So,
and the car, too.
Yeah. So I didn't expect it. I just enjoy the campgrounds. There's stuff to do. People are active. You talk to them. You learn stuff, tips and tricks, where they're going, where to go to, where not to go.
Yeah.
You know what to do while you're in the area and see.
Yeah.
You exchange things, recipes or foods. They have cookouts, chili cook-offs. There's just so much stuff to do, and everybody is in such a low-key frame. People aren't triggered and upset by everything. They're just like, hey, we're living what we got left of our life, and we're enjoying ourselves, and they're happy, and it's like hello and hi and sunshine, and it's amazing.
Well, that's interesting because, yes, a lot of people, they would do nothing but boondock, but yet you've been finding a way to make the campgrounds work for you and being able to budget it and enjoy it.
I kept thinking, even if we did boondock it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to save money-wise, because we're going to have to be paying to repair.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So, and that's something I thought, well, it's not even worth it, because it's going to, I don't want everything to break. That was scary. That was really scary.
It beats up your axles, your suspension, your shocks, even your tires, and everything. You're driving down the road just on a highway on like a 3 or 4 earthquake, you go boondocking, you're 10, you're just
Okay.
beating the hell out of it, and stuff's getting rattled apart, and it's putting torque on everything. And
Well, even just to tow an RV out of a boondock place could cost you way over thousands of dollars just to
Depending on where
to
you're
pu-
at.
just to pull it out.
I get that. Okay, well, thank you. So, do you guys know how many miles that you have driven in the last 2 years full time in?
it's about 8.
8,000?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
No idea.
it's going to be less next year because we're not going to bring it all the way back.
To the Midwest.
We're just going to drive the car back.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I think we're going to find a lot more of where we want to stay out west because we're going to spend 3 months in Vegas and see about getting a domicile out there,
Okay.
and then traveling around in a little triangle I found of the right weather
Sure.
that we can be in. So
Okay.
we'll save even more on that.
So, for 2 years, you've been kind of traveling the United States, kind of narrowing down an area that you would kind of like to mainly focus on staying,
Right.
except for the occasional trip here and there. But
Right.
okay, all right. Well, that's good. And speaking of all the miles that you have driven, Crissy, are you still driving behind him, or did you guys somehow get a dolly and started towing?
No, that would have been one more thing to mess with, and we just didn't want to. It works
Okay.
out actually quite well. It makes it a lot easier, I think, when we get into busy highways and all that, that I can kind of control traffic to let him get over.
Sure.
And keep an eye on it. And we've got cameras front and back on both of our the RV and in the car, so we kind of feel a little safer that way, quite honestly.
Sure. Well,
And
that
plus, our car is not set up to tow. We'd have to get one of those 2-wheel dollies and drive it up on there and ratchet it on there and do all. And that's just extra stuff with my back that I'd have to haul around and bend over and move and mess with. So it just works better. And we've got walkie-talkie, so we get to play
Okay.
Smokey and the Bandit.
oh, that's kind of cool. All
It's
right.
actually quite fun.
Well, so I am going to assume, and we're just going to tell our listeners, that you have found full-time RVing to meet or exceed your expectations. Now that you found your groove of campgrounds and much time frame you're going to spend here and there, so you're glad you did it.
Oh,
I-
God, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It's better than what I thought.
Good.
It really is. It's better than what I thought. I can't believe that the people you meet, how much friendships we have gained as we travel, still keeping touch with people, playing on Facebook and all that, or coming back to, okay, I'll see you next year. It's been fun.
That's right. So, do you do daily campgrounds, weekly, monthly? Have you done something different in the past that you're going to do in the future?
Originally, we didn't have it scheduled as we do do it monthly, and we came to find out it's very expensive to do it, whether it's daily or weekly. And therefore, if you're rushing around, you really don't get to enjoy the area. So we thought, well, what's the hurry?
Sure.
We're just chasing good weather, basically. So we just slowed our roll. And we said, okay, let's go and find a place that we can afford, spend the month. And we thought, well, we'll either want to come back or not come back again. And that way, at least we did what do you call it?
Due
Diligence.
diligence.
That too.
Well, so you're now planning monthly or
Yes.
several months.
We're-
Okay.
We're doing monthly when it comes to a brand new spot that we've never been.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're going to go down to Gulf Shores, Alabama for a month, and the Texas for a month. Then we're going to Yuma for 4 months, Vegas for 3, and then Sierra Vista for 4. Because a lot of places, if you stay 3 or more, you get breaks
Okay.
on your pricing.
So you're learning
Yeah.
those ropes there
Yes.
too.
And we
about-
know that those places have the good weather during the cold times.
Sure.
And they're not too hot during the summer.
Sure.
Yeah, our thing is we do not have a 4 seasons RV, so we have to be cautious about freezing, because the last
Sure.
thing you want, your pipes
Sure.
to freeze.
Sure.
Anybody who's on the road
Yeah.
are well aware of that.
Yeah, we're well aware of that. That in the back of your mind all the time. Something else I wanted to talk to you about that maybe others would be interested in if they're thinking of this lifestyle. 2 years ago, you probably had an idea, well, maybe not, because you thought you would boondock and you wouldn't be spending as much. But budget-wise, you're making it work, obviously, because you're going to continue. You're just telling us your plans for the next year. So was that hard to find the routine groove of the right budget? Or did you find something that was a budget buster that you could control?
Eating out.
Okay.
That's where the easiest way that we could blow our wad. No problem, because it's fun. It's entertaining. You got to eat. trying new stuff. That's our problem right then and there. So we have to pretty much,
Be
put
very
ourselves.
conscious of that.
Yeah, you do.
Sure.
Otherwise, it's just too easy to blow it.
Sure.
But
sure.
it's nice. Like we're set up till October of next year,
Okay.
so I know what our rent's going to be for the rest of the year.
And that helps.
That helps.
And we've picked places that are cheaper than what we've stayed at before. So we know where the expensive ones are and the cheaper ones are. So we're staying at the cheaper ones so we can stay there longer and do more. So that helps.
Well, and the longer we're there, then the less gas we have to spend on driving the RV.
That's true. Well, gas for that and the car together. So yeah, I can see that. Well, good for you. Okay. I'm sure your family and your friends are going to watch this, and they may be wondering this too. I was going to ask you, where do you see yourself in 1 year, 3 years, and 10 years? But we already know where you're going to be in 1 year.
Yeah.
But what's next? What's after that 1 year? What's after that? What's in 3 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Are you going to continue? Obviously, you seem to love this lifestyle.
We do. I think we would definitely want to have an RV no matter what. But we kind of really been entertaining some of the RV parks that we go. They have like tiny houses there, small facilities there. Sometimes they can still consider them that they are an RV, but they've got a skirt around
like
it.
park models and
kind of
things like
of
that.
that nature. And we found a few of those that are really cute. And we met
Okay.
a few people that I was able to go inside and look at it, and I was like, ooh, I can walk around in this. And I don't want a big home.
Yeah.
I do not. I don't want it all over again. I love the small lifestyle of it, but I really like being in the parks. That's what I love. There's so much to do and people to talk to.
Like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's kind of my goal, is to find out where we want to put our next roots down, because we still want to travel. Because I know we're never going to find, except there's one place that looks like it's so far, but I don't know if it's the city we want to be in that has great year-round weather that's not in California.
Yeah.
And it's
afford that.
affordable, but we just don't know how much we're going to like the city. And we're going to be staying there this year for a few months. But we're looking for like a 55-plus place that is good most of the time out of the year. And then if it's bad for a few months, we know where to go for the good weather. It's just a couple hours down the road in the RV,
All right.
you know.
Okay, well, that sounds really good. So, when do you leave here?
This Saturday.
This Saturday. So you guys are getting things repaired and getting things put up and nailed down. Have you found a routine in your RV and streamlined it to get ready to move? Because that's the hard thing. A lot of people, like, you got to strap this down, put this in the sink, this on the bed, and then eventually people say, I'm tired of doing that. I'm just going to get rid of those things.
We've done both. We've gotten rid of a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things. The other thing is, I got really tired of thinking I was going to get a black eye every time I would open up a cabinet and have, like canned goods fall on me. I found little clear little container parts,
Boxes.
little boxes to organize everything.
Well, that's a good
And
idea.
when it's time to really get on the road, I have a tub. Everything that's on the countertop goes into it. Put
That's
it on
it.
the bed, and we're done. So
Good.
it's really not that. It's not that hard.
And we've now, since we cleaned out so much stuff, we've got like 3 extra big travel things. So it's going to make breaking down on the inside a lot easier, because you've got 3 empty tubs that were full of junk. Now we'll put the stuff in there, put it up, it'll go over the overhead. We're done. When we get some more, we pull out the one we need and put the stuff out. And I've got the outside routine down. Just take your time and do it, and it's really easy.
Another thing is we had to get a little more organized, because as we travel, we will boondock at like a Walmart or,
Right.
a place like that. And you do kind of have to be a little more organized, because you do want to get your coffee in the next morning. You do want to do the necessities. You
That's
still have
right.
to get these things. So you just
That's right.
you just do it smarter.
Okay.
And and one thing that makes it good with that is we can get to everything all the time, because it's just a solid unit. There's no moving parts. So no matter where we're at, what we're doing, we can always get to everything. So that's what makes, when you have to boondock, easier for us.
Sure.
Yeah, we have some friends. They have the nice slides on both sides and everything. They can't even access their refrigerator when they're on the road. And I was like, oh boy.
Or the bathroom.
Yeah, or the bathroom. I was like, oh, that's
Oh
why
my gosh.
that's why we chose our unit, so we could.
So, in this last year that you've been RVing, you lost your pet. And we had seen her on our previous interviews, and she allowed you to interview. That was really nice of her.
How kind of her.
Yes. I don't know if you want to share having a pet that gets sick and on the road, and how that was harder for you, or was it easier, or was it been the same if you'd been in a sticks and bricks?
The process was going to happen no matter what. Jezebel was 23 when she passed.
Wow.
So she was very old, and we actually discussed, is it fair to take her? You know, she was the neighborhood, you know, cat. Everybody loved her. She had freedom. She could come and go. And I thought how I felt selfish that we wanted to have our life and she'd have to be on a leash. But at that age, I think she adapted quite well. But we didn't really know, but she grew a tumor in her sinuses. So the process was going to happen whether we were in the home or not.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, are you going to get another one? No, not right now. Not until we are much more established. That's a lot.
Yeah. When you have a pet for 23 years, you just don't go out the next year and get one.
We don't. I mean,
Yeah, we knew her ever since we got married.
Yeah.
Even before, because she was a neighborhood cat where we were at, and the people that got her just abandoned her. So we took care of her on the outside. So we knew her ever since we were married until just a couple of years ago when she passed.
Yeah.
And I mean, she was slowing down. She didn't go very far from the house. She just sit around the house and stay in the general area. And she loved being in the overhead bunk and looking out the window and stuff. So she got to see some of the country too.
Sure.
You know.
Sure.
But it just, when she's that age, when they go quick, and it was going to happen regardless of.
Right.
what we
Right.
did.
Well, my thoughts and prayers are with you, as I've experienced that this year
I
too.
know you have. I'm so sorry.
I know. Thank you. Okay, one last question before the wrap up here. When you were watching YouTube before you went full time, and I know that you said you had done that for a number of years, and then you went full time, and now you've been full time for 2 years. The honeymoon period is over. Can you say if what you watched on YouTube was really reality? Is that the way it was for you? Did you learn things from them that you applied, and did you experience some of the things that they've experienced? Or how would you align that with what you see on YouTube versus what you experience?
You want to go first?
Either way, I'm glad we did. I learned a lot.
Okay.
And it gave me something to expect what lifestyle would be like. It's nothing like it until you actually live it yourself. I mean, there's no way
Sure.
to.
Sure.
But to have learned a few tricks and just things how to be more organized.
Yeah.
Or products that you think are worth the money and not buying others. Yes, I think YouTube prepared myself a little bit better. Other than that, I made a whole lot more mistakes.
I think the ones that show you all the things that go wrong, some people try and think they're just showing you that stuff because they want money. But if you're boondocking, stuff is going to go wrong, if not daily, weekly, because you're going through some rough territory. And unless you have a specially made rig, they're not made to be off-road vehicles. That's just physics. They don't have the axle and all the suspension built for it. And these houses are sticks and bricks pretty much, and they're constantly wobbling, and it's putting stress on all the joints and everything, and your glue, it's stuff that's glued and everything. So there's a reason that people that are honest in their YouTube, they're always showing you something going wrong, because something is always going wrong if you're living under those conditions in a mobile home.
And so we appreciate their honesty instead of showing us just the rosy side of
just
everything.
to sit there and show you the cup of coffee while they're looking at a sunset or a sunrise, it's like, yeah, you went through a lot of shit to get to see that sunrise.
Well, literally, interesting enough talking about this yesterday, the third time trying to have our toilet worked on, and we finally said, you can't put enough parts in it. They couldn't find any more parts that go to it, and I thought, fine, good, we're done, get a brand new one. So things will break, just like they do in a regular home.
Right.
But those are the things, where do you get it fixed? And thank goodness you talk to a lot of people, and there will be a mobile RV repairman
Sure.
somewhere close to you.
And
Right.
get recommendations from people in the area.
Okay.
because they know.
Sure.
Don't just read it on the internet. Get it from the people where you're at
Yeah.
that have had them there,
Sure.
and they can vouch for
That's
them.
right.
Because that means a lot. Because people we've had worked on here, both of your recommendations came from you.
Yes,
RV
thank you.
Prepper Wayne and this CRS Paul
Yeah.
Cox Repair. I mean,
Yep.
they were fantastic, and we wouldn't have known about them if it
That's right.
wasn't for you.
That's right. Yeah. Pepper Wayne. He was an angel when we needed him.
Yeah.
Several
Hi,
times.
Wayne.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to do an interview again next year. And I really appreciate you sitting down with me again. I've enjoyed this so much and enjoyed visiting with you. And I wish you many, many happy miles on your journey. And I can't wait to see what this brings, what this next year brings to you.
Well, thank you. You've been our RV angel.
Oh.
You have been. This is another reason why we got to come back in. We got to see you.
And then we've got to send our well wishes to Camper Van Kevin and Felix for their losses of their pets
Yeah.
recently.
All
And their
right.
health.
That's right. I second that. And thank you very much.
Yeah.